welcome back to another edition of The Uncomfortable Truth. I'm your host, Dirk. I want to talk about a subject today that is near and dear to my heart. And if I sound a little anal retentive to you, it's because I've had a rough day. Like many of you, I'm sure. And I'm referring more to you guys than you girls. The subject will be quite controversial as it has to do with the opposite sex, in this case, women. The modern day spoiled fucking brat American woman, regardless of what age. Now, I'm not talking children here. Children are children. They're exempt, period. I'm talking legal age fucking adults. And if there's others out there like me, please feel free to chime in. But here goes. Every day of my life, I have to wake up and feel this unbelievable aggravation in my life, eating away at my guts because of a woman, or women in particular. Women, I genuinely believe, are, in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I genuinely believe in my heart, no matter what they may say to you, I think a woman, or woman rather, is the biggest reason that so many men are dying so young nowadays. Because a woman is literally gnawing at the man from the moment he gets up to the moment he goes to bed. Eating away, chipping away at that poor human soul without any regard for what he may be going through, because she has been fucking led to believe throughout the course of her life that she is the single most important thing on God's green earth and that no one else matters. Especially a man, a boy, a guy, a person with a penis. They don't matter. Only when and if they need something from them or to sexually satisfy them. Now, allow me to explain what kind of put me into this position. What drove me to this little tizzy. I'm walking outside with my girlfriend a little while ago. Now, I love my girl to death, but she was kind of giving me a little bit of attitude today. She's going through that time of the month. Fair enough. That's one woman I got to deal with attitude-wise. Today, for instance. My mother, God bless her, is another woman. Even bigger issue. The woman has driven me crazy since the day I was born. I got to deal with her insanity on a daily fucking basis. Just eating away at my soul. That's two women right there. Are you following the pattern? Then you turn on the fucking TV, or you listen to the radio, or you go on the web, whatever it is, and it's always about women's rights, women's libs, political correctness, women need to be paid more, women this, women that, I am woman, hear me roar. Well, the guy is just cut down, put down, and brought to pasture. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the man anymore. Nobody. We're just expected, as always, to quietly work, break our backs, accept what's to be, accepted, whatever comes our way through hell or high water, money, family, honor, whatever it is, protecting your family, bringing the bacon home, it doesn't matter. And they're trying to cut you out of that equation too. Well, here's the situation. I'm standing outside in front of a bank. My girl went off to do something temporarily. I was checking my cell phone to look at the time. From the corner of my eye, I see this young woman walking towards my direction. Fairly attractive, long hair, in a slinky black dress. Nice weather day for it, East Coast, New York. You get where I'm going. Now, I may be with someone, and she may be with me. But as I always say, if you see someone attractive walking past you, there's no shame in looking. There are attractive people, there are decent looking people, and then you have your butt ugly people. I would say that she was decent looking, but in her own mind, this girl, this woman, walking, or just about walking past me, in her own mind, after years of being pampered to, probably thought she was drop dead gorgeous. Well, guess what, honey? You're not. Now, here's what drove me to this brink. Because I've seen this many times, and it's not just me. Woe is me, cry me a river, fuck you. The thing is this. Women have this unbelievable attitude lately. It's almost a form of privilege in and of itself. You always hear about white privilege. I actually believe there's women privilege. I think that being a woman, as a woman, they can get away with fucking murder and laugh at you for it. Think about it. How many times, and guys, I want you to be honest, how many fucking guys right now can raise their hand and say, she laughed at me at court. She took my child. She divorced me and took me to the cleaners. And she might have been the culprit. She might have cheated on you, might have had someone on the side, might have fucking taken you for a ride. She never has to pay for anything. She can flash her tits, her legs, get into anything and out of anything. Out of a ticket, a cop. If I show the cop my chest, he'd beat me with his fucking billy club. A woman can flash a little cleavage, all of a sudden it's all forgotten. And that's fine. I accept that. There are different sex. They're prettier to look at. That's great. But along with that good look comes a fucking attitude. A negative energy. I believe in auras. And I could say for the most part, with the exception of my girlfriend, I have never been around a woman, for very few and frequent, like a missing link, Bigfoot type sighting, that didn't have a negative aura. It's all about me, 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 me. They take you to the cleaners. They take your child. You have to pay alimony. You have to pay child support till they're 18. You have to fucking bend over backwards. You have to listen. You have to accept it. And I love when people like joke like a bunch of fucking pussy whip losers and say, oh, you know, we argue, but I always have to say like that she's right. Why? What happened to the male culture of this world? Why the fuck are we calling Muslims backwards when we're pussies? I'm not a fan of the way Muslims treat their women. But you know what? At least the women know over there who the man is in that relationship. Over here, men are obsolete. They don't need us anymore. And that's fine. That's fine. But then I see this girl walking. And you know what? The girl's walking, notices me, and I'm not a bad-looking guy by any stretch. I've been told, not even my girlfriend, but over the years, anyone who I've been around tells me I'm good-looking. I don't have that attitude. I'm like, all right, fine, thank you. I'm kind of prideful about it. Good. But here's what gets me, and I've seen this, and it's not just about me. This could be any guy. Take me out, put any guy. This girl's walking, glances upwards, and keeps walking past me without making eye contact. Perfectly normal. No problem. I have a girl. I'm not going to hit on her. But now here's the thing. She has this look of disdain on her face. Like, how dare you even look at me as I'm walking past you? That's what gets me. This cunt twaddiness about it. I am perfectly cool, man. I don't like to go after girls, hit on them, nothing like that. I enjoy a girl from afar. I'll be polite to them and I'll leave them be. I am in a serious relationship. I don't cheat. I'm not a scumbag. I've been cheated on by a woman. I got so many fucking stories all over the place. Relationships, friendships, never been married, never even been as far as engaged as of yet. But every woman prior to this moment in time with the current one has been a cunt. And I include my own fucking mother in that category. Because you always got to deal with that issue. And it just gets to you, man. It gets to you. It eats away at your soul. You know? They get away with murder. And they don't fucking even feel bad about it. So she's walking past me like any other guy and giving you a disdainful look. Almost saying like, how dare you look at me upon my grand visage? Fuck you, bitch! You're not that good looking. But it's because I'm not the type of guy she's into. She almost feels like I shouldn't even be looking at her. Some other guy should not be looking at her. But then why do you dress like a provocative slut? Because you want the attention. But when it comes down to the brass tacks, your privileged ass doesn't want someone else looking at you. What does that sound like? Think about it. White privilege, all that horse shit. Women's privilege, my friends, aka women's lib and all that bullshit. I'll get into that in a little bit, by the way, just to explain myself further. Women's privilege. When you watch a movie, the fairy tale princess, 9 out of 10 times, is the good girl. She usually has the snotty friend or sibling or something or other. The step-sibling, child, whatever it is. They're the unbearable cunt shrew you want to slap across the face. Doesn't that sound like someone we know or live around now? You know? It's like How dare you? How dare you put your eyes upon my visage? And it's just like, who the fuck do these cunts think they are, really, at the end of the day? Now, I'm not a fucking fan of that asshole Elliot Rodger from the Santa Barbara spree from a week ago. But he really was fucking frustrated, that asshole, and couldn't get laid and all that. And you know what? I really believe this. I am not condoning him, and I think he's a piece of shit, and I hope he's roasting in hell as I speak. But I will say this. Although he might have been sick in the head to begin with and had access to guns, Elliot fucking Rodger probably experienced worse shit than even I did. And I've been reading up on him a little bit. I've been reading up on the bullying and all that stuff. And I fucking think that the guy honestly, genuinely might have wanted to be with a girl or get laid or have a relationship, and they rejected him for whatever their personal reasons. And of course, yes, and Elliot Rodger makes sense to me. He was a narcissistic asshole, so I get the fact that a woman would be rejecting him. But now here's the great fucking ironic, the great irony about the whole situation. When is a woman not narcissistic? When is a woman not fucking got her nose up in the air and her thinks that her fucking shit don't stink? Exactly. And here's the sad thing. There's a lot of great girls out there, but it's not the girls the guys ever give a fucking time of day to, because they're too fat, they're too fucking plain, something or other is not really appealing to them. So in the stupid guy's mind, he's always looking for a fucking hot chick. 9 out of 10 times a hot chick isn't Megan Fox from the movies, who's this super hot babe who loves the geek. That never happens. Unless the geek has billions of dollars and she's sucking his cock on a fucking nightly basis, it's not gonna happen. The guys also need to wake up. And we all have differences of opinion and differences in taste. I get that. But I really believe this in a historical basis. Back in the day, the women's movement, women's lib, feminism, to some extent, whether you like it or not, believe it or not, started as a positive, important movement. Women were barely able to live, to pay bills. Majority of men would go off to war, die. They would be raising kids. Someone would knock them up, run for the hills. A woman wouldn't clean enough or have a dinner late on the table. The guy will beat the shit out of her. A woman deserves to be able to be protected and have equal rights among us. I agree completely. But somewhere along the way, the radicals took over and started teaching the women all the wrong things. Instead of trying to be equals to men, that I am woman, hear me roar, I am just as good as you, I'm going to work my ass off, I don't need your fucking help. Now it's, fuck you, I'm going to sleep with whoever I want, I'm going to do whatever I can to make it, I'm going to walk over everybody else, and I'm going to fuck you for your money, I'm going to fuck you for your kids, for your child supports, your alimony payments. And you know what? What the fuck is so glorious about that movement? They went from feminists to quote-unquote feminazis. I hate that term, but I have to say as a term it works well for their case, because you got to separate the two. There's an anti-male, anti-man, anti-white man, I should say, thing going around lately. And where everybody's fucking punching bag. And I, for one, have given up on it. I'm not going to be anybody's punching bag. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a fucking asshole and hurt somebody. But I'm going to tell you right now, straight up here. Do not date liberal women. You can have fun with them, that's fine. Do not date liberal women, I repeat. They are whiny, feminazi, good-for-nothing drug addicts. Potheads, okay? I had dated one, and she did everything she could to humiliate me, use me, abuse me, and then discard me for the hills. I no longer date that type. I am with a perfect soulmate. And you know what? She respects me for being a man. Sadly for her, I don't allow her the same bullshit I allowed the other cunt beforehand. But you know what? This one is a much better woman and actually has a profound respect for me for the most part. And like I said, even though she might have her days, she goes through her periods, all that. I get all that. Even if it's just the day you woke up the wrong side of the bed. I can't think of one day that and I've been with this girl for about 2 years now. We're living together. I can't think of a fucking day, in all honesty, that I had a single honest fight with this girl. The other one? Oh, fuck. What day was it? We fought every day like fucking animals. And you know what? I like that fact. And I learned to put my foot down. It's scary. You don't know how someone reacts, but I learned to put my fucking foot down as a man. Because one thing I've noticed at the end of the day, no matter what women say, you are a man, and they expect you subconsciously to be as such. A woman doesn't like to have a panty-waist doormat. And for the longest time, the feminist movement, I believe, has made men into panty-waist doormats. That's the problem. Like I said, Little Miss Big Shot walking around, strutting her stuff, and how dare I look at her. You know what the funny part is? I didn't even notice her. I saw her from my periphery walking towards my direction. And your instinct is, of course, to look at someone, especially if they're nice and dressed and everything. But what's with the cunt attitude? And that's another thing I noticed about women. For all their bullshit, they're insecure little bitches. If someone doesn't give them the time of fucking day, it's like they lose their marbles, literally. They want to know what's wrong with them. Why not me? And as I said, it all stems from childhood. Your mother's manipulating you. Your grandmother might be in some ways manipulating you or causing problems in the house. Your sister, your cousin, your girlfriend, your wife, her fucking family, your in-laws, your colleagues, your bosses. When the fuck does the man have some peace? Until he dies? Until he goes 6 feet under? Well, not this man. Not this man. And if I was you guys, I would start seriously listening and following my example. Because you don't have time, enough time, to spend on this earth. And you sure as fucking hell shouldn't take what little time you do have left to spend it on a bitch. Talk to you soon. Dirk, The Uncomfortable Truth.